We are live tonight with Lana Wilkens, and we are so excited to be here tonight because this is all attention for moms, calling all moms out there. We've got like 1, 2, 3. Come on, we've got tons of moms out there. Lana tonight is going to be showing us something that we all need. If you can read the scroll on the bottom, go ahead and, type in the word read, because this right here is what we're talking about. I mean, I'm still in my t-shirt, had to move desks all over the place today and tape down things for school. We were like moving, wiping, cleaning. By the time I got home, I made dinner and kiss, hug, did some scripture reading. It's like, boom, it is 7:15. It is time to start this thing. So Lana is going to be like all over it, helping us to understand why, as moms, you can go through life and it's still going to be okay. It looks like we got some great people popping up here live. I'm over in Kyle, Texas. And Lana, where are you broadcasting from tonight?
I'm in San Diego, California.
Beautiful place. I have to share all about it. Oh, so exciting, so exciting. And she has ducked into her car to help minimize the traffic sounds. And we're like, holding the pen and balancing to get the reception from the coffee house. So we are living her book right now live. It couldn't get any better than this. So those people, I see 8, 10, 12 people already popping up here live. Please go ahead and put down in the comments where you're from. And we're going to just jump on into this. All right. This looks great. Okay, Miss Lana, tell us a little bit about yourself. Maybe.
Okay, I am this tricky little thing with the reception, so hopefully you can hear me okay.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
So I wrote a book called Knee Jerk Mom, and I wrote good. Okay, sweet. I wrote it because I was a knee jerk mom. Essentially, I felt like I was drowning in all the obligations that I felt like I had to myself, to my family, friends, and nobody put that on me. Like I was imagining it in my own head, And so this is just the book about my journey of how I let all those knee-jerk tendencies and lifestyle choices and just said, you know what, it's okay if I don't do things the same as everybody else. I can do things like me.
Exactly. You can do things like you because that's what we're supposed to do, right? Exactly.
And I want other moms to feel that way. Yeah.
Right. So you're basically saying, hey, moms out there, this is your permission slip. Sign right here. You have, so you can even see I've got notes on what to do when I get home. Like it is just crazy, right?
Yeah.
So, Lana, why do moms drive ourselves crazy and put these high expectations on ourselves? Why do we do that?
Everyone probably has different reasons, but I can tell you for me, a lot of it had to do with the desire for recognition. I wanted to be seen doing something amazing with my family, with myself. If you ask a mom, hey, what are you into? What do you like to do? You want to have an answer for that. You want your kids to be in this and that activity. You want to be pursuing things that sound, profitable and amazing and beautiful. But if you're just saying, well, I spend all day at home and I cook and clean and wipe my kids' bottoms, like it just doesn't sound glamorous enough or purposeful enough. And so there's that pressure to say, oh, I'm doing something more with my life, as if those things aren't really valuable,
Excellent point. Excellent point. Those are the best things that are the most valuable. Family and raising them has definitely kind of fallen down the scale of, I don't want to say interest, but it's like, sure. Yeah, that should be happening as well as all these billion other things, right? Now, a lot of us are busy and things happen, and it just depends on responsibilities and, if you've got to provide. And we know that there's different situations and circumstances. Right. But like you're saying, where does the knee jerk part come in? What about that?
Yeah. So when we make decisions as moms, it can, so I put two women next to one another in the book, and you look at them, and on the outside, they look the same. They're both doing a lot of things. They both would say, we're busy. They both have a lot going on. So the difference does not come in like, well, how busy you are, but why you're busy about what you're doing. So you can be busy and it be really great. It can be good for your family. It can be, filling your schedule and also being exactly what you should be doing with your time. And then you can be busy in a way that detracts from your family, in a way that makes you hyper stressed all the time. You're always hurrying everyone around. The way you're reacting instead of responding is a knee-jerk tendency. And so as I looked at my life, I realized that my level of busy was not that profitable kind. It was kind of the crazy kind. So I decided maybe it's not busy that's the problem. Maybe it's the way I'm reactive instead of responsive.
Oh, say that part again. That
Sure.
is key. That's key right there.
Yeah, that's the heart of the book is I learned that it's not being busy that was the problem, but it was my reactionary nature. Instead of responding, I was reacting.
Yeah, response, reaction. Which one has the explosive emotional impact? Let's think about that. Yeah. I guess we could keep tally marks. Oh, knee jerk. Whoops. Oh, man. Like, we got the little line of tape and we're just marking it up there. It's a good check, actually. I think when those things start to happen, I think the awareness when it just is right there and the time it takes and the bravery and the courage it takes to say, oops, hang on, we've got to change something here. And not change to, like you said, like, we'll just take that off the schedule. Well, some things can't be taken off the schedule. If you work a full-time job to help provide, that's not going off the schedule. But what could be changed so that it's not so reactive, explosive, that kind of thing? And so what kind of skills do you recommend and show maybe inside your book to help other moms with that?
Sure. So I'll say two things. First, this book is not highly prescriptive. So I don't go through and say, make your schedule like this, make these decisions, do this with your life, because I don't think that makes sense. I don't know the reader that intimately, and I would never pretend to say I know whether she should or should not work, should put her kids in public school or homeschool or whatever. Those are family decisions, not my decision for them. But I've asked a lot of questions. At the end of each chapter, there's a list that I call food for thought. And it asks the deep questions that kind of get you thinking, oh, what could I do? What are the areas that are off? And so there's a couple tools that I put in there that help you think through those things. One is the jar and one is the graph. And those help identify making sure that you're creating time and space for things that are most valuable to you. So moms, we kind of live in this emergency, like putting out fires world a lot of the time. And if we are utilizing the graph, then we're able to intentionally choose time out, not just for ourselves, but things that like fill our soul. And it could be with others. So for me, writing, I love writing. But then I also love going on walks with my family. That like really fills my cup, So it's just making an awareness, having an awareness of, oh, am I neglecting one of the quadrants of the graph that I need to be focused on? And that's the values quadrant. Then the other really helpful tool I have is called the 3 gates. And I did not make this up. My mom told me about this when I was a kid, and she didn't make it up. I think it came from a poem, like back in the Quaker days. I don't know. Anywho, it's called the 3 gates, and it's meant to help us with our words. So when I'm talking about myself, to myself, when I'm talking to others, anything that's not true, kind, or necessary, shouldn't leave my mouth. And as a kid, I was like, well, I'll never talk again because, you know, I'm always going to be saying something that's, you know, one of those, not one of those three. So it's real challenging. But I have a 4-day challenge that I walk women through to kind of help them apply the 3 gates to their life. So that's one of the big things I like to do.
I love that. So it looks like we've got Cecile here, Laura's here. Lori's here. So many great people are listening in tonight. And I think this is great about the 3 gates. Something simple. And I like how you said that they're tools. Tools give us options, right? Because sometimes when you have a toolkit, no matter what the problem is, there's probably a tool in there that you can apply to the right, way to, I'll say the word fix, but, change things, mend things, whatever. And that way, kind of tweak. And that way it's not in the prescription kind of way and feeling like, I know for myself, I'm going to tattle on myself. Sorry, all you authors out there, but if you give me something that says, here are my suggestions, here are recommendations, here are some tools, I'm going to go with the tools. Because suggestions and recommendations for myself, I could feel myself maybe wanting to go back into old habits of pleasing, perfecting, and performing, which are my weaknesses. Those are, I'm in that direction, then I'm going to go right down. So with a tool, I kind of think, I can use this and it's going to be really helpful. Yeah. So that is really amazing. Keywords. Thank you, Lana. I feel like, okay, because advice books that tell me that I'm doing all these things wrong or that say, hey, this is the best thing for you. You should stand in the grass 16 minutes every single day and ground yourself. And, and I'm like, those are, I don't have 16 minutes. What if I do 3 minutes? Is that going to end the whole thing? Is the prescription, canceled? Like what happens? Right. So, I just like the fluidity and the ability for some flexibility. I like that. Bendy brains are very helpful. So wonderful, wonderful. Okay, Miss Lana. How many children do you have?
I've got 6.
All right. So are they all kind of similar, all kind of different? What are they like for you?
You've got a lot of kids too, so I know none of them are exactly the same. I've got a 13-year-old down to a 1-year-old. So, an 8th grader and then a baby. So, and everything in between. So we've, and we homeschool, which again, was our decision. It works great for our family, but is not prescribed in the book. I try to really make sure people know that because I think people think of me, they think, oh, she's got a big family and she homeschools, so this is about homeschooling. But the book is not about homeschooling. I do talk about it though, because it's part of one of the choices we made. But totally not exactly related to the topic. But because we homeschool, I see them all the time. And it's become really, really important for me as a mom to find space for walking out values that don't have like a direct relationship with my role as a woman. Not because I'm a mom all the time, but there's things I'd like to do that aren't mommy things, if that makes sense. So I think every mom has desires beyond or outside of motherhood. And so having 6 kids, it's become imperative that I look for and kind of nurture those things too.
Agreed. I love the word you say with nurtured, because I think of, a garden. I think of trees. I think of my grandmother. I think of my grandfather who could put anything in the ground and up it would come. And I don't have that skill, and that's okay because I'll can all the food for you. How about that? We'll work out a trade. You grow it, I'll can it. There you go.
Exactly.
But the point is it takes such time to nurture to really start to develop things. And in your book, it sounds like maybe you give the permission of time. Do you say anything about that?
Yeah. So when my husband and I, for example, we are looking at our week or the semester or whatever it is, we are looking at this kind of gets into like the analogy I said earlier about the jar. There's only so much that can fit in your life. You know, some people, I mean, I know some super high capacity women, and I'm a little bit on the lower end of that spectrum. So there's some women that, man, their jar may be bigger than mine and they can fit more stuff in it. And I think learning what your capacities are and not feeling guilty about it, not, this is what I was talking about at the beginning, because we compare ourselves so much as women and as moms, and our jars are all different sizes. Like in the Bible, I'm a Christian, so I relate all of this to my faith. And when God gave the talents in the Bible, he gave a different amount, and we can handle different amounts. But it doesn't mean I'm less than as a mom. It doesn't mean I'm less, trustworthy or faithful. It just means my capacity is what it is, and it's good for me to admit where I'm at and live my life according to that. So yes, space is a big deal for me. Um, Being honest with myself about my time. So my husband and I plan our week, our semester based on what we're calling our big rocks, and I usually pick 3 or 4 at the most. But that's me and that's my life. So I've learned my capacity over the years. But different women have more.
It's interesting to say that it has such variance. And when you're thinking about it, of course it would, because diversity is key to anything the creator makes, right? You just look at flowers. Wow, you've got the little forget-me-nots to, this grand lily of the valley. I mean, they're all so varied, and a forget-me-not has just as much value, just as much capacity for what it needs to be as a rose or what have you. And so when we can see what that is, it doesn't limit. I think it actually opens us up to understand and receive more, because we're giving ourselves the time that we're not missing in the hurried and rush of stress of things. And it's hard. I mean, I get sucked in, and so there's many times where my husband's like, it's check time. And I'm like, okay, right? It's tough. It's tough to admit that there are times where, a week will pile on things, and because of duties, responsibilities, you're like, whew. What I just felt like is that options and choices just got limited. Okay, do I want to live back in bondage again? It's a different kind. It's not in abuse. But am I picking my own set of bondage, right? Because of this and this and this and this and this. Am I trying to put too many of the big rocks in, or have I filled it all up with sand first before I'm trying to put the rocks in? What am I doing? Look back, get the perspective. And I'd like to say that was the weekly reflective part. No, but at least I don't let it go for a year, right? It's probably 3,
We
4
don't do
weeks.
it every week.
Oh,
we do it when you feel that crunch, like you feel it when you're like, oh, things have gotten away from us. And instead of throwing in the towel and being like, oh, it's just our new normal, we're just too busy and we just, we're going to feel this way all the time. I mean, you can do that. And then a year later, you're like, I am so burned out. I have to say no to everything and retreat and just get away from all of it. And that doesn't ever feel good, So, yeah, I don't do it every week, but I do it when I start to feel that crunch. And then we reassess and say, oh, did we let something else in? And I mean, yeah, I think you kind of touched on this. Sometimes a lot of times there's stuff outside of our control. We're all experiencing that right now. Things happen and we don't get to decide, and we have to deal with what comes to us. But that's when I kick back over to, okay, I can't always choose what is on my plate, but I can choose how I'm responding to it. So that's when I look at the 3 gates more.
Love that. I had an option just tonight in sending an email. I wanted to send my victim email, like, oh, la, 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 la. So I wrote that out first, then I quickly deleted it, and I was like, okay, that feels better. And as soon as I could feel the victim coming up, like, poor me, I was like, hang on. You have some tools in your tool belt. You can respond a little bit differently. So I was taking some of your advice, and I didn't write a knee-jerk email. I have written a few of those. Oh, and they're the worst because they're right there, and you're like, yeah, sorry, that's me.
Right.
I don't know, live and learn, right? And yeah, there's sometimes where I'm like, yep, and I'm going to circle it 3 more times right there because that was my turning point. Or like Lori is going to have a new book coming out called Pivot Point, and there's a point sometimes where we just have to take that shift. Exactly. Okay, Miss Lana, is there anything else you would like to share with this amazing audience here tonight that you feel would benefit them, or, you know, really encourage them to want to share the information, share this book with other people?
Sure. I think first off, I just love to share that, yes, I have taken steps away from being a knee-jerk mom, but I think we all know that we're always growing and always facing different parts of ourselves. So there's not like, oh, I've arrived and now I'm never going to be a knee-jerk mom again. The book isn't about that. There's no arrival. There is just a process of refining that happens slowly over time and in different areas. So I just want to make sure that I never communicate that this is like a once and done kind of process. It is lifelong, in the same way that with our kids, we would never think, okay, now I've parented you and boom, you're perfect, you know, like that's silly. We've all got plenty of room to grow for our lifetime. But there is a lot of hope in things we can change and tweak in our life that does make it better. So I think the yelling is the biggest change in my home. I used to yell, every day, multiple times a day. And I don't never, ever raise my voice now, but it has radically changed. And my relationship with my kids has gotten so much better. So if I just want to encourage any mom out there that is feeling like, well, I'm just a yeller, I just have to yell. That's just part of, that's every mom has to do it, I think I'm learning that it isn't necessary, and there are ways to learn to be more responsive instead of reactive. And I pray that every woman is able to just have hope in her heart that we don't have to yell at our kids. It's not about guilting ourselves, but God can change our hearts about that. So.
Agreed. God definitely can change our hearts. He created it, so if he created our heart, I'm sure he can do some fine tuning if we just allow that process to happen. And I think this is just good.
Very humbling.
Solid is. This is one of my favorite signs. Humble. Check that out. You're up here and you go down. That's humble for you. And you just think,
wow.
Yeah, that's visual. Nope. So I really feel that what we've shared tonight, I think will give some hope out there. We've had some large announcements, big things happening. A lot of people are in a race and a competition, and I'm part of this whole kind of thing as well. But really, bottom line, why we do these podcasts, why we do anything like this, is really to give light and to give hope. And I thank you, Lana, because I think what you have said tonight is perfect. And I hope someone in the audience has taken something, maybe been reminded of something, or if this is something kind of new that makes them knee-jerk in a good way, so that they think, I probably could respond a little differently. And you're making those conscious thoughts and efforts. And when we try that and do that and ask for help, I feel that help comes down from heaven and puts us in places and positions where things can really start to change with time. And it's not about the race. It's not about the perfection. It's not about the one and done. So I really agree with you emphasizing all of these key points. So thank you so much, Lana. So along the bottom, you've been reading, tools to stop yelling, hurrying, endless repeating, how to know what to do to prioritize in life and why. You can definitely reach her at kneejerkmom.com if you have any more questions. And is your book available there as well?
Yeah, kneejerkmom.com, you can just click a link to get the book. But if you go to kneejerkmom.com/adventure, which I might even just go ahead and hop on and stick a link over to the other page, but that's where you would get in contact with me if you want to do things like one-on-one or group coaching and discovering your own family values, things like that.
Wonderful. That is great. So you guys have it right down there. We'll pop it in on the comments below. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Cecile. Thank you so much for jumping in, making comments. It looks like everything is coming together great. Thank you. Yes, God can change our heart. It is so humbling. I agree. And those slices of humble pie are tasty. There's moments. Yeah, there's moments. Hopefully they're just moments and not years worth, right? That's the point, right? Just keep going and it's okay. And if you're having a bad day, give her a call, reach out, contact, read some stuff, and Lana, I'm sure, will help to give you that support that you need, that you can, move things forward. Thank you so much. Everybody go out and grab her book. Do you have a copy of it there? Or we'll put a picture in it down below. Oh, she's got it. Hold it up there. Look at that knee jerk mom. Ooh, awesome. Awesome sauce. Okay. Love it. So you've got lots of fish. You have 6 fish there because you have 6 kids? She's counting the fish.
But I didn't even think about that. But yeah, and there's jumping out the water. That's you. That's the mom right there, jumping out the water.
Ooh, out of here. Y'all can swim. I'm seeing you later. All right. Well, you guys take care.
Going against the flow,
That's right. That's right. I hope this has been uplifting, and enjoy your evening, y'all. We'll put the comments down here below. And thank you for coming to Beacon of Light podcast. And we will talk with everyone soon. See you guys.